compactified. So they're sitting right on top of us. So within less than a Planck unit of space above you.
Billy Carson is about to unveil the thousands-of-year-old secret of our existence, one that mankind has been trying to decipher for millennia. This is not just surprising, but transformative as well. So sit tight and let's dive in.
We're living in a multi-dimensional universe, and there's at least 11 dimensions. Otherwise, the universe would collapse. Each dimension is a 90-degree angle right above the next one.
Just want you to know the dimensions are unlimitable. There's no limit to how many dimensions we have. It is a number that cannot be mentioned for each Google of us, which is a number that is unlimited. Google is. So therefore, we had to make unlimited of unlimited to fit the unlimited. You understand where I'm going? Keep watching.
Compactified. So they're sitting right on top of us. So within less than a Planck unit of space above you, there's another dimension that actually exists with a whole other universe happening simultaneously while we're sitting right here. And from higher dimensions, they experience time differently. Time really doesn't exist. The past, present, and the future happen all at once. So somebody, for example, from the fifth dimension would look at us and they'd be able to see us. Imagine us in this building here, but imagine when I first walked in, and imagine us in here, and imagine me like in the bathroom or something. They'd be able to see us in all the different rooms. The different rooms represent different time frames of existence within this structure. So they can see the past, present, and future at the same time.
So is the idea that when you're in a higher dimension, you can see below lower dimensions, but you can't see dimensions above you?
Exactly, unless you have the capability of matching. First, you have to obtain the frequency of a higher dimension and then match that frequency to be able to walk in. So, for example, my hand is stopped now by this table. Why is it stopped? I'm not really touching the table. There's repulsion going on. Electromagnetic repulsion between the electrons in my hand is repelling the electrons in the table. You don't really touch anything. Now, if I can match the subatomic frequency of the atoms in this chunk of wood here on this table with my hand, I'd be able to pass my hand right through this table unscathed. Why? Because atoms are 99.999% empty space. Nothing is really here. Everything is only a light wave slowed down to a particular frequency. And so if you can match frequencies, you can merge with things. You can walk through walls and all that kind of stuff. Things that have seemed paranormal could be advanced beings have tapped into some type of understanding of how to match different frequencies in our dimension and appear apparitional or paranormal, but in true reality, they could just be taking a peek in.
And how do we come to the understanding that these higher dimensions exist? Like, what is the most basic evidence that we have of this?
Quantum physics proves it. See, when we look into the quantum world, everything changed. In standard physics is where we are right now, in the large side of physics. But the smaller you go, the more weird things get. We find that particles transphase in and out of existence.
Like the Garden of Eden. It's a real place.
0.999% empty space. Nothing is really here. Everything is only a light wave slowed down to a particular frequency. And so if you can match frequencies, you can merge with things. You can walk through walls and all that kind of stuff. The things that have seemed paranormal could be advanced beings have tapped into some type of understanding of how to match different frequencies in our dimension and appear apparitional or paranormal, but in true reality, they could just be taking a peek in.
And how do we come to the understanding that these higher dimensions exist? Like, what is the most basic evidence that we have of this?
Quantum physics proves it. See, when we look into the quantum world, everything changed. In standard physics is where we are right now, in the large side of physics. But the smaller you go, the more weird things get. We find that particles transphase in and out of existence, and they go to different dimensions. We even know now that some of our synapses of our thoughts in our brain phase out of this dimension and they go somewhere else, and then they come back again. And this has all been tracked and traced through the understanding of quantum mechanics and quantum physics and understanding that dimensions exist. The biggest way that we made a model of this is we figured out how to create something called quasi-crystals. Now, these quasi-crystals are these multi-dimensional crystals. We actually created an 8th-dimensional quasi-crystal. We created in a laboratory using different technologies. And then from that 8th-dimensional quasi-crystal, it casts a shadow of itself down to a 4th-dimensional quasi-crystal, which then casts down a shadow which creates a sphere. So we know that the The universe is most likely the shadow of a higher dimension. We're living in a light matrix, which is actually a light matrix, which is a shadow of a much higher dimension. And so we know this because they created these crystals, these quasi crystals, and when they put them at different angles, they cast shadows. Sometimes
What do these crystals look like?
they look like. Have you ever seen Adinkra codes?
I think I heard you talk about this before. No,
They look like Adinkra symbols, mathematical symbols, but in the third dimensional time space. And so if you take them and pull them out into a third dimensional time space, they look like these lines that are connected with these nodes like that.
This is a quasi crystal.
Yeah. It's an ordered structure, but it's not periodic. If you put 8th dimensional quasi crystal, it's a fractal. It's all about fractal. We live in a fractal holographic universe. The quasi crystal is a fundamental basis of the fractal holography that we're living in. We're fully immersed in it, so we can't detect it, but we're living in a light matrix. And that's what the Adinkra codes also prove. Professor James Gates Jr., University of Maryland, former scientific advisor to President Obama, he put together a team of the most incredible supersymmetry and theoretical physicists in the world, like the top brains in the world on this. And they started analyzing what is the ether of space-time. What is this soup that we're living in, that we're inhabiting, this universe? What is it? What is it made of? What's powering it? They discovered something called Adinkra codes, which go back to the ancient Dogon tribe from Mali, Africa. The original inhabitants of the land of Cam then moved to Mali later after they were thrown out, taken over at one point. But they still kept this ancient knowledge in Mali about these Adinkra codes, and they would draw these patterns. Well, he discovered that these patterns are actually mathematical codes. And these are not just any mathematical code. They're actually the codes that describe the ether of space-time itself. They're error-correcting codes, the same exact codes that run our search engines and web browsers that we're using right now to look at the image. There's coding behind that screen that runs this, what we just did, and guess what? It's the same code that runs the universe. So we discovered that we're living in a programmed light matrix. These are depicting the nature of reality, and they actually are mathematical programming codes.
This proves a lot of things I said before in the past, but also proves that, like I said, we not really here. I said that plenty of times, but also, like I told one of our brothers, that we just part of our thoughts. This is a thought. Thought is energy. Thought is light. Thought is waves. Wavelengths is energy. We're living in our thought. We're living in the program that we thought up. Literally. Y'all ever seen Tron? Look at it as that. The man made, the guy in the character movie made arcade video game. A world and a box, basically. That's what those big old arcade things are, right? He found a way not only to look down, but to get in there now. He was white though. He was white though. So you should start peeping the hijack and deploy. All right, you ready for this one though? Okay. When he got into the Matrix, the video game, as in Tron, he found out something went wrong. Also, the same thing with the movie called The Matrix. When he escaped from the pod and into his thoughts, although they made him white, you know the ploy, you know the hijack. What he do? He realized that, oh shit, he started finding out shit's fucked up. That's not how, and that's why the last Matrix, they got at the end of it, although they made him white, you know the ploy, you know the bullshit. So that they could now create the whole thing the way that reality the way they wanted it. So this means somehow our thought, something hijacked our thought. Because in our thought, there's evil things here. Right? Ain't that something? The evil things were not supposed to be here. In fact, they were good at one point. Something went wrong. And so we're trying to get rid of that bad thought that has now a virus in the system, which will happen real soon. But are you starting to see the ploy? Have you watched Player One? Did you not understand what I just said? Are you seeing the ploy? Are you seeing what they've been showing you, what they've been telling you? We live in our own thought. Your thought is reality. And in fact, all your thoughts don't stay here. They go someplace else and then they come back. So what's that tell you? Come on, y'all. Y'all got to start thinking about this shit. We thought of from a higher reality, another reality, which was a lower reality, because you're not going to think of something higher than you, right? As a lower reality, but it was a beautiful heavenly reality. And something somehow entered that thought, because our thoughts become a reality, because we create things with our thought on the highest level in the ether, because we are a creative being. I say being because we are one. The separation, you are this guy and he's this guy and I'm this guy is all fucked up and wrong. That doesn't exist. Well, unless you're an outside nation. But for us, our people, that does not exist. We are one. So for the devil to use that trick and get you to think of a singular, right? A one person, singularity, a one person, right? As if you are one person, instead of we all are that one person, our people. And we all are the ether because we are one. There's no such thing as this guy, this girl, and that girl. There's only one. And the energy is feminine and masculine. That's why I had the thought of feminine and masculine. Ergo, you see, case in point, they're men and they're women. Hello? That was the thought, because we are what? Male and female energy. You have to start looking at this. We are ether. We are. We're a whole thought. We thought of it. And we thought of ourselves in different reality. Why? Probably bored. I don't know. We want to learn all the time. We love to learn. The spirit likes to learn. We're curious, but not no more. We figured it out. No more Curious George. With no more games. It's about the, you already know. But anyways, and shout out to all my fellow kings and my fellow kings, and shout out to all of my queens and my goddess is and God's men, although we don't use the words because the words are pagan. Shout out to all the great mothers and great fathers, because we are also that as well. But anyways, and peace and love to all our people as well. But now you understand we are not here as a thought. An atom is a substance that seems real but is not real, but feels real but is not. It is a thought. Come on, y'all. You think I'm just watch the freaking video. Y'all don't think
Special type of code though. They're error correcting codes. The same type that Google browser is running on is the same thing that runs the universe.
What does this tell us, and where do we take this? Like, what is the, obviously this is like foundational knowledge for us, but like, where do you see it going?
Well, if you understand that we're living in a fractal holographic light matrix, it doesn't mean we're not real, but it tells us, wow, this is the method of the creation. Now we're getting closer to understanding what we really are. We understand now that consciousness isn't made inside this avatar body, that the avatar body doesn't even exist, that consciousness is a stream of something coming from somewhere else and is being picked up in this matrix with this coding. If you took all the humans on Earth, there's 8 billion humans on Earth. If I took all 8 billion humans and removed the empty space between their atoms, I can fit every human into a sugar cube. One sugar cube can hold all 8 billion of us. You can see atoms are empty space. If you take the empty space out, you collapse it into one sugar cube. All 8 billion can fit in one sugar cube.
So that means, y'all, there's a bad energy. There's a bad energy that entered our positive thoughts, our positive matrix, our positive everything. And yes, I mean, yeah, the things you go through, they feel real. It definitely does seem real. I mean, you touch yourself. It looks like you're real, right? But no, and yes, and in this video game, if you will, that we created, I thought, yes, you are, but you're not really here. This is a thought, just something you thought about, and you're experiencing it because you wanted to experience it on a highest level, on the God level. I rebuke the fact we got to use that term, but on the 9th of light being level, I don't have to rebuke that part at all, the 9th light being part. So therefore but then you start want to be curious and want to know how it's like to be human. Something that is not something, but looks like sometimes that's something, or similar to that something, but it's not that something. I'm being nice, y'all, because I can be rude and just say the whole thing straight out, but you know what I'm saying.
So what does that
That's
mean?
wild.
What's here? There's only one consciousness, it seems, and it's like a radio station that's transmitting out a frequency from a higher dimension. Our avatar bodies pick up that frequency. You're 99.1, I'm 99.2, he's 99.3, but it's still coming from the same source. And so we're all coming from the same source. It's like the universe has found a way to live subjectively through multiple entities, but not even through entities, even through objects that we consider to be man-made, because every atom we know now of quantum physics is also conscious.
Bam! Didn't I say that? Did I not tell you that? Okay. So, who remembers when I told you how I told you and the way that I said it when I told you? Whoever remembered that, you've been paying attention.
Imagine you're reading a story, but instead of it being printed on the page,
But I won't make you wait. So we decided, I, we're only one. This one, energy. Spirit means energy. Decided to separate itself and Google's of numbers, which is a numbers unlimited. If you say infinity, that number infinity is limited. It's limited. It's limit. There's a limit to it.
of a book, it
Okay.
exists in a space you can't see or touch.
Hey. So, now what happens? It want to experience what you call life, want to learn, right? And different versions of itself. But not only just itself, and many versions of many different versions of itself. So in other words, instead of it making one of you, and one of this, one of that, no, it decided to make 100 Anthony's, 100 Johns, but no, not really. They kind of got in there, but you know what I mean. 100 freaking, well, it's more than 100. I'm like so not doing justice by saying 100. What's to say a number unlimited of one of you, but on there and many different places. That's right. Now, what happened? What happened now? Okay, so you. Okay, so there's okay. We'll say your the ladies, sisters. Well, guess what? Same thing. If your name is Pam and you're a sister and you're a queen, then guess what? There's Google Pams, and they all you, but they really all us, all it. But for sake of conversation, they all you, but they all exist on different planes, different districts, different planets, different. Are you getting it? Mansions? You getting it now? Okay. But then there's so many different people us, all right? But then, don't forget, we also thought about good things, and we had obviously thought some things and allowed some, or it can't happen without us, and those things became evil, and then now we had a problem. We got a problem. We're about to get rid of that problem. Why? We don't want to experience how that situation is. We really shouldn't have. A lot of y'all say, we got what they call that? This is so funny. I laugh at this, but it's so funny. Some type of debts, right? How you have a debt? You don't have no debt. You're the ether. You just want to experience shit as if you had a debt, but you don't. Come on, man. You just want that. It's like, bro, instead of sitting there knowing everything all the time, being bored, what you decided to do is literally just separate yourself with numbers and experience a whole bunch of fucking shit. A whole bunch of shit. Shit that fucking, and this version of myself, there's some shit I just don't know that we want to experience. But guess what? Then you got, whoa, what the hell? Oh, I want to go big. That's fine. We can zoom in. But then you got what? Okay. So now you got it made animals. And guess what? There's other districts. There's different animals. What the hell is going on? Are you starting to see the fact that you just want to freaking, instead of be bored, you made your own show? Oh snap! You made your own video game. Hello. You made your own program. Uh-oh. There's something messed up. But without you, it couldn't have. You wouldn't have allowed it, right? Make good and evil. Come on, y'all. Okay? It was good. It turned evil. Hey, how does that happen? A thought. Oh, man. But what if there... But see, there's so many different realities. Guess what? This could just totally mind fuck you. Everything I'm saying right now. Because if you're not understanding what I've been saying all along and shit that I'm showing you right now, it's going to be hard for you to freaking understand what I'm saying.
This is a bit like the concept of a multidimensional universe that Billy Carson speaks about. In our daily lives, we're used to dealing with 3 dimensions, moving forwards and backwards, left and right, up and down. But what if I told you that there are more dimensions out there, ones that we can't see or feel? This idea comes from a field in physics called string theory. Think of it like a guitar. When a string vibrates, it makes a sound. In string theory, everything in our universe is made up of tiny, vibrating strings, and each vibration makes up the things we see around us, like stars, trees, and even ourselves. But for this theory to make sense, scientists believe there need to be more than just our 3 dimensions. In fact, they think there could be up to 11 different dimensions. Now, why 11? It's not just a random number. In the world of physics,
Why? We'll get to him in a minute.
the math works out perfectly when you include these 11 dimensions. These extra dimensions aren't something we can touch or see, but they could be hiding in plain sight, folded into the universe in ways that are too small for us to notice. It's like if you were a character in a book. You might think your world is just the page you're on, but there are so many more pages and chapters that you're not aware of. This idea changes...
Well, I said we could literally blink out into reality. When we was in charge, we could literally teleport from one planet to the next just with a thought, because we knew we're not really here. We knew this is a thought. This is like a video game for us. This is just fun. But somebody fucked up the fun, y'all. Somebody messed up all the fun. You fly here, fly there. They ain't got to fly. Think about there, be there. Just like that. Blink of an eye. Think about going here, be there. Whole other planet, whole district, where one of your buddies at. Matter of fact, go visit your own self in a whole nother reality. Blink, boom. Think about it, you're there. Come on, man.
The way we think about everything around us. It's like discovering that there's a whole new world hidden within our own, full of mystery.
Walk the walls, all that shit. Why? Because you knew. You knew. You already had, you knew. This all the stuff you forgot. You should not have forgot. You understand? Now, yes, something gave the Dogons that information, but the fallen ones figured it out. How could they have infected the game with a virus? They infected the program with a virus. Come on, y'all getting it? How could they have done that if they did not figure out the code? So they figured out who we were. They found us and all this. They said, oh, shit. Well, we're not it. This thing. So it's something way high we can't even see. But